Mr. Joe OSAWAYE.
I start by saying this is the day the Lord has made, and we're going to be rejoicing and be glad today. I bring greetings from the city of dreamers, Dubai. And we're going to be looking at so many things and sharing so many things today. The topic is very interesting: starting business from scratch. I'm a Nigerian to the core, without any apologies. I love this country. It has blessed me so much. I went to primary school, secondary school, high school, university, everything in Nigeria. The lessons I've learned as a Nigerian is what has helped me in my different activities in the different places I do business around the world. So we have a fantastic country. It's a great country. It's a country of amazing opportunities. And it is a very, very good school if you need to go out to go excel. So I take myself as a typical Nigerian, where everywhere we go, we show our traits. One of our biggest traits is our tenacity. Another one is our spirit of excellence, determination, go for it attitude, and all that. So I thank this country so much for the opportunities it had given me to showcase the goodness of the land. I have a disclaimer, first of all. When I was being introduced, say he's the owner of Kiza Restaurant and Lounge and the other companies you talked about. I am actually not the owner. Let me tell you guys, I'm not the owner. I'm a steward. The owner of the businesses is the king himself. It is so difficult when you want to own. That means you have to sustain. We don't have the capacity to do so. It is only him that has that capacity. We're going to do a small exercise, but before that, let me say that I am one of you guys. I only started this journey before you. I started my business almost 20 years ago with $214, 30,000 naira. Can I say that again? I started my business 20 years ago, not with $30 million, not with $3 million, not with $300,000, but 30,000 naira. At that time, it was 140 to $1, so it was about $214. For God to have used the times of small beginnings with $204 or 30,000 naira, and with him, working with him as a steward and listening to him as he says, do this, do that, do this, he has brought us this far. That same God is available for you today. The equivalent of 30,000 naira then is probably about 300,000 now based on the exchange rate. But it doesn't matter. We're dealing with the one that gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Now the small exercise. Can you guys just for a few seconds, just close your eyes, just for a few seconds. You can open your eyes now. Once you close your eyes and you open it, it gives you yet another opportunity to be impactful and to make a difference. So this gift that God has given us called life is a gift that we need to use to impact the world that He has allowed us to be and to be a blessing to the people around us. I greet all great Nigerian workers as we celebrate an amazing day today, the Labor Day or Workers' Day. We are some of the most resilient workers and some of the smartest minds on earth. As you travel around the world, you will start to appreciate who the Nigerian is. We're such an amazing set of people. Let us celebrate ourselves. You know why? Because nobody will celebrate you. So we'll celebrate ourselves. Now we're starting from scratch, from the beginning. And I told you guys that I own no business. I'm a steward. So what happens is I need to work with the one that owns everything, and we take it day by day. But the great master, so it's a relationship between a king and the citizens, or a master and a steward, or a father and a son. So, the first entrepreneur that ever started this whole journey of entrepreneurship is God Himself. If we look at the book, which I call the Constitution or the law, it starts in a very interesting way. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What does that tell us? He completed everything from His first statement. In the beginning, He created the heavens and the earth. Therefore, whatever dreams you have in your heart is already completed. Can you hear me? Whatever dreams you have in your heart is already completed. So what happens is that the master completes it, and then it comes to you, and you now work with him to accomplish it in your own realm. But it's already done. That's why he introduced himself first in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. As I speak, I'm a recipient of God's mercy and His grace all the way. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. He now starts to explain to us how we must approach this thing called entrepreneurship or business. He told us first that, you know what, I started and I finished, but I want you to walk with me in this journey. But the first thing that's going to happen, I'm going to bring a chaotic situation to you. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. The earth was without form, there was total confusion, and there was major problem, which is similar to what we have now. When you look around our society, a lot of the things that we call problems is a setup. The problems are the opportunities. So when you look around after this meeting, from what I'm going to be talking about and the rest of the speakers, every time you see something that looks like a problem, that is your opportunity. You got to rejoice. I was looking at statistics the other day from a group called Nairametrics. They ranked Nigeria as 114 as a place of, in the area of competitive index, 114. Looking at it plainly, it looks like that is a terrible position. But guess what? What did I say just now? The problem is what? The opportunity. Therefore, for Nigeria to move from 114 position to 100 position, some people called Entrepreneur's would have brought certain products or certain services to move that. That is money. Yeah? Because when you provide a solution to improve the lives of people, to bring value to the table, you'll be rewarded. So we are at a position where the opportunity is so big. And you know, when a target is so big, it is almost impossible to miss. So if we were fifth position, it tells you that the opportunity is small. But we are 114. We should be rejoicing. I'm seeing people not. You are supposed to be rejoicing because that's the opportunity. We're talking about entrepreneurship, yeah? Entrepreneurship is bringing solutions to a space, and you're rewarded either through a product or a service or a combination of the two. So some of you guys will be the persons that will move Nigeria up the ladder, and you'll be rewarded. So start to prepare your mind and start to see things that look like obstacles as great opportunities. So we said, the master starts from the beginning and finishes first. Then he comes to his son and says, okay, I have put a vision in your heart. Let us work together and accomplish it. But it sets you up, and it gives you a problem first, which is what we see in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. But because he's a loving father, he's not going to leave us in limbo or in a state where we'll not be able to handle situations. So what he does is exactly what he did in verse 3, where he said, let there be light. What was he talking about? He was talking about knowledge and information. What is this knowledge and information? It is the book that I call the law or the Constitution. Guys, listen to me. We're still in the area of business, but there are certain foundations you must have first for you to truly excel in this thing called entrepreneurship. So the master says, let there be light. He brought information, knowledge. And when that knowledge was now available, it started the journey of creation. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and he rested on the 7th day. What actually happened after day 6 was that he decided to co-rule with us. And he gave us the land he had created and said, you know what? Go dominate the air, go dominate the sea, and go dominate the land. Look after it and keep it. So the first entrepreneur handed the whole entrepreneurship to us. You understand? So entrepreneurship is a calling. It's not how we see it as business. He showed us by example first. He did it. He showed us that the problem comes first. Information comes. And then in that space of information, you can start to create and innovate. Therefore, the responsibility of adding value, creation, and innovation has now been handed over to us. But not in isolation, because we're going to be working with him because it is his overall vision, but we're just part of it. So he says, the law, he says, this book that I'm giving you is called Law. And it says, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate upon it day and night to observe all that is written in it so that you will be prosperous and you will have good success. So now we have the law. We have the illumination. We can start the journey of creation in conjunction with the Master himself. So all businesses is a solution to a problem. You will need to work with the Master to open your eyes and your ears to know which problem you want to solve. Nobody can tell you which problem to solve. You will need to, based on your giftings and what you hear from the Lord, will determine what business you want to solve. It says the seeing eyes and the hearing ears, the Lord made them both. So it will tell you and it will speak to you concerning what problem you need to solve. I have with me today what I call a cheat sheet or a hack sheet, or what we used to call those days cronje or expo. So what I'm going to share with you today is the cronje, the expo, the hack sheet, or the cheat sheet. It is based on my failures, my lessons, and the secrets that have taken me from 30,000 naira to where God has put me today. Thank God for technology, that this message can be played back over and over again. But I recommend that you have your notes, because when God speaks through people, there are certain things that you hear differently. Yes, there's the general thing, but there's a specific message He wants to drop in your heart. So be attentive. Get your notes out, and as I speak, it will minister to you, and you will write what you need to write. It will be a time of illumination, and a lot of light bulbs will come up in your minds as I speak. In this auditorium, and from all the people that are watching globally, there will be the next Mark Zuckerberg. There will be the next Jeff Bezos. There will be the next Aliko Dangote. At least we know those ones here. Some of these other names, some people might not be able to connect. There'll be the next Elon Musk out of this space. You know why? It's not about you. It's about him and what he wants to do. Don't think you're too small or despise the times of small beginnings, because 30,000 naira, $214, can be a $2 billion business in the hand of the Master. As long as you walk with him, listen to him, and you co-rule together. The journey of life starts with our birth and when the Master calls us back home. But our desire as entrepreneurs is to leave an impact. Is to leave an impact during this time that has been allotted to us. We've seen in creation how innovative the Master is. Whether you look at the land and the creatures of the land, you look at the seas and the creatures of the sea, or you look at the birds of the air. The diversity of these creatures is so amazing. When you even look at the people in the auditorium and look at our faces, how they differ, this is amazing innovation and creativity from the Master. That same spirit is what he has given us. Do you understand that? That same spirit of creativity and innovation is what he has given us. Reuters brought out a report that the unemployment rate in Nigeria is 5% of the total population, and it's going to be climbing. So let us understand one thing. There is no way the government or the public sector can create enough jobs for all the working class people. It's not possible. There is nowhere on earth that has been possible. What does that tell us? We might need to employ ourselves. Yeah? Because there'll be no jobs. No government can create enough. Neither can the public sector. Since we're going to be employing ourselves, that is the beginning of the journey of entrepreneurship. I therefore say, ladies and gentlemen, in the auditorium and watching from around the world, welcome to the journey of entrepreneurship. You should clap for yourself now. That's why you came on. What is entrepreneurship? Remember, I said it's a relationship between the master and the steward, which was God's original plan from the beginning. That's why he gave us dominion, so that we can be exactly like him. For he told us that we were made exactly like him in his likeness. Therefore, his character and the way he functions has been deposited inside us. He has also given us resources, either from original materials that exist or things that have never existed that you can bring to life. So the two ways that you innovate or create is either from ready materials that you improve upon, or ready businesses that you can improve upon, or certain businesses that never existed and you create it. A couple of years ago, nobody knew anything about social media. Some people sat and created it. Now we cannot do without it. That is creating out of nothing. Creating out of a already existing material is, there's a restaurant that exists, but you come and you bring your own style and innovation and make it better. So in the intro, they talked about one of the things we do in Dubai, a restaurant in Dubai. When we started 12 years ago, there was nothing like that in the whole of the UAE. But we came and we looked at the space and we said, why not? Why are we celebrating other cuisine and we're not celebrating ours? So we said, let us look at the best location in the UAE, because that's where we deserve to be. And let us start to showcase our culture through food, music, and all the rest. And that's how Kiza was born. So what am I saying? You could create from nothing that's existing, or you could look at what is already existing and improve upon it, either through a service, a product, or a combination that is a solution to a problem and adds value to the lives of the people that you're engaging with. You guys know what an iceberg is? All right, if you don't know what an iceberg is, it's a big volume of ice that floats on water. But what happens is that there's a small part you see. If you look at the screen, you see the small part you see. That's just a little bit of the iceberg. The main part of the iceberg is hidden below. Nobody sees it. A lot of what happens in the journey of entrepreneurship is that part that you never see. "17 years of the platform. I cannot imagine what Pastor Bojo and the team has been doing behind the scene for us to now have 3 venues this year. So what we see is just that tip. So everything we see. But you cannot imagine what was behind this arrangement to make this happen. That part is much more important than what you see. For the law also tells us that the things that are seen are created from where? Good Bible students. Therefore, for us to enter into this realm of creation, innovation, and bringing solutions to mega problems, because the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the reward. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the reward. So look around our society. What are the major problems we have? If you can solve those problems, I thought I had 30 minutes. All right. I need to rush now. The first thing you need to check out is your mindset. Everything starts with a mind. You need to ask yourself some questions. What do I see? Do I see abundance or do I see scarcity? It's all in the mind. That's why the law says we must renew our minds. Am I capable? Do I deserve it? How do I benefit from this abundance? And how do I access it? 80% of the iceberg is prophecy, where you will need to consider faith, obedience, humility, finding your own prophet. You see, this particular one is very important. It says, believe in God and be established. Believe in his prophet and prosper. You need to spend time, strategy meetings with the owner of the business, where you discuss matters in prayer and meditation. You need to also cut a covenant by sacrifice with him. For if you've never gotten something before that you want, you need to give something you've never given before. The Lord says, gather my people together that will cut a covenant with me by sacrifice. Also the power of the spoken word. Both life and death is in the power of the tongue. How's your business? My business is fantastic. I don't care what other things are saying. I will declare what I want the business to be like, because that's what he has declared. 80% of that is prophecy. The next part is policy. That is the usual thing we see, the small bit. Opportunities, access to the market, value creation, understanding risk, pain, perseverance, rejection, fear, greed, people skills and all that. These are all different. Each of these vertical, you can spend a whole seminar talking about it. But because we have shortage of time, we're just going to touch, and go. I'm not talking about the legal structure now. The legal people can sort that out, where you're talking about whether it's a sole trader, partnership, what kind of partnership, limited liability company, or a PLC. But the obvious things is that you must look at your legal structure as a business, because sometimes people don't take you serious if you don't have a legal structure. You must look at the market and do your research. You must do your risk assessment. You must look at financial management and capital management, branding, marketing, sales, IT, operations, etc., etc. Preparation is key because the opportunities will come. If you're not prepared and the opportunities come, you're not going to be able to make profit out of it. Therefore, success is preparation and opportunity. Dream big, but start small. But when should you start? Now. You know why? Because faith is now. Faith without works is dead. When I started with 30,000, what did I do? I bought a phone at that time. I registered a company and I made business cards. I didn't have any idea of what I was going to do. But you know what I was doing? Every day I wake up in the morning. This is very important, guys. This is very important. Listen. I wake up in the morning, I wear my suit, and I go sit on my dining table. No idea of what I was going to do. But faith calleth things which be not, as though they were. The evidence of things not seen, the substance hoped for. What did I have? I had Baba God. I had my dreams. That's all I had. But with time, he did what only him can do. And today is history. Back in the city where I live, there's something called the Museum of the Future. If you've been to Dubai of late, there's this big, massive thing that they have there. It's a very interesting museum because what we understand as museums is that you put artifacts and things from the past there. But these guys are quite amazing. They put things for the future, how the future will be in 2071. So people can come into the future now and see. The same way the master says, write it down on the tablet, do it tarry, wait for it, it will not tarry, it will surely come to pass. The same way. So in our minds, let us get into the future now. It's called the power of the imagination. It is free. The future belongs to those who can imagine, design it, execute it. It isn't something you wait for, rather it is something that you create. So if you look at that, there are pictures of Lagos of now and Lagos of the future. A school, what it is now, what it could be. This is how we dream in Dubai. So I'm just bringing it to you. A typical bridge, this is what it can become. These are the things that we have in the Museum of the Future. It is something we can apply here as well. Think and project where you want to be and start to work towards it with the master teaching you step by step. Covenant. Pastor, see. How can it be? See. The power of your imagination. This is the ruler of the city where I live. Is the one that had made that statement. The future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it. It isn't something you wait for, but rather what you create. The man himself, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to dare to imagine it, dare to design it, and dare to clinically execute it. I'll see you guys on top.
Don't stop clapping.